Welcome back into the Camel Call podcast. I'm your host, Evan Budrovich. For this episode, we go across the world and catch up with one of Campbell women's golf's finest, Tahnia Ravnjak, who, of course, was an all-conference selection all 4 years at Campbell. She reached the NCAA Nationals as part of her team 2 times in her career and was just the 12th player in Big South women's golf history to earn all-conference honors all 4 of her seasons. Then Tahnia took the coaching route a year after graduating and led her squad again to a Big South title with many of the players she was teammates with the previous year. Her route from Australia to the United States is not very common, but at Campbell it's become a lot more traditional. Kylie Pratt was one of the first players to come from down under to the United States, and now we see 2 current players, Josh Hetherington and Stacey White, on the Campbell golf team, and a few others over the last 5 to 6 years to come from Australia. That being said, we dive into the large traveling and some of the neat places Tahnia has been in her golf career, playing professionally now in China and also, of course, in her home country, Australia, and some of her favorite memories from championship runs at Campbell.
Obviously, Campbell will always hold a special part in my heart, and it just really kicked things off for me. And I'll always be grateful for the opportunity that Coach Crooks gave me to be a part of the Campbell women's golf team. And then that opportunity went further when he asked me to be the women's assistant coach for the girls, and that was honestly one of the best experiences ever. And I guess I was sort of struggling with my game. Things weren't going to plan when I graduated. I wanted to turn pro and play on tour, and my game just wasn't where I wanted it to be, and I knew at that point it wasn't going to be good enough to be competitive at the level I wanted. So I took the opportunity as the assistant coach, and that just really opened my eyes to the game in a different way, and I got to be around the girls and help them, and through my experience. And I think one major thing that helped me a lot was when we'd go to tournaments and obviously not playing and just walking around with them and giving them advice. They'd ask for help with what kind of shots they wanted to hit, and I would sort of think of some of the girls, we had similar games, so I was able to help them a little bit more personally in that way, because I would tell them, what shot I would play. And then, it kind of got frustrating because I knew what the right thing was to do and how to play the shots, and obviously I wasn't playing, so I guess that just gave me another urge that, this is really what I wanted to do. And just seeing things from a different perspective on the other side of the ropes, as they say, not being a player. So that definitely by coaching the girls made me want to get back into playing. And it was definitely a turning point for me. And then I decided to just do that for a year, and then moved home. And at the end of July I moved home, and then I turned pro in December of 2017 and started my professional career at the start of 2018. So I really love the game, and Campbell was always a big starting point for that.
I'm curious too, because so many of the girls that you coached, you also played with, whether it was the Stacey Whites of the world and you name it, all those girls that literally were your teammates, and then a couple months later you're coaching them. How was that dynamic?
Yeah, it was, nothing changed. Like, it was fine. And I guess from a golfing perspective, the girls respected me. I guess from my results in college and just experience that I had, I guess they, more so the younger players, I think I had to really understand that from a professionally, like being the coach of the girls, like I also had now I had a bigger responsibility for them. So, anything golf related with Campbell and the team and everything, whenever we'd have team meetings, I was always really professional with the girls, like Nadine and Louise when they were seniors. They were 2 of my best friends in college, so that had, I had to just really separate that. But then again, when, we weren't at practice or, we were just living normally, I would talk to them like as a friend. So that really didn't have play anything negative, or, there was no tension, there was never any drama or anything. And I'm super grateful for that. But I feel like I was really able to provide a lot of knowledge and go off past experiences for the younger girls, especially the freshmen and the sophomores. So yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot.
I want to go back to your career too, because you were pretty star-studded at Campbell, and as a freshman, you were the freshman of the year, which doesn't happen every day. What was it like coming right
Oh,
onto
yeah.
campus and playing really well when you first started?
Well, I mean, first off, I never had an official visit, so I just packed up my stuff. I just turned 19, flew halfway across the world with a suitcase and my golf clubs, rocked up to campus. Funny story, actually. Coach told me the date that I had to be at school, so mum came over with me just to help me set up and move into my apartment, into my dorm and everything. So we got there and we're like, we go to Miami for a week first to spend some time with my mum's friend. So we go there for a week, and then the day we're heading up to North Carolina, I get a phone call from Coach, and he's like, I have some not so great news. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? He said, oh, I've given you the wrong date. School doesn't start until the following week. So I was already a week early. And so my mum couldn't actually help me move in. I had to do it all by myself. And I ended up staying with one of my teammates, Mary Caitlin, and her
Who's
family
now a
was
golf coach now
so
herself
kind.
too.
Yeah, and it actually so lovely and such a lovely family, and so kind of them to take me in for a week. So I actually got to live with one of my teammates before school even started. It was pretty sad though. My mum had to go home and she couldn't help me move in. But yeah, I remember moving in, and I didn't really have too many expectations on the golf side. Obviously, I knew it was going to be a huge adjustment, and just getting used to the American lifestyle in a completely different culture. And I knew that was going to be a challenge, but I actually loved it. And the more, I'm pretty, I would say, an extrovert, so I love chatting, as you know. And yeah, I just made friends with everyone in my classes and tried to, talk to as many people as I can and get comfortable and familiar with the environment. And yeah, once I was on the golf course, it was like, it just felt normal. And yeah, I actually had a pretty good freshman year, if I recall. I think, yeah.
Well, they all
It
blend
was quite,
together, of course.
yeah. Yeah, it
Tanya,
was.
I'm curious too because, and this is with any golf team, but just the influx of culture, whether it's Australia like yourself, Sweden, European countries, you had some South Americans, just the mix of different cultures. How much fun is that of getting to meet different kids, even just on your own team?
Oh my gosh, it was seriously the most amazing thing. Like, I still keep in contact with pretty much everyone from, and where was I going? Annie came over for a European tour event. We had a couple in Australia in February, and Annie came over. So Annie's from Sweden, and I got to see Annie, and I talked to Ashi, and Louise is in Europe, in France. Like, everyone's all over the place. And on Saturday night, we actually had a Zoom chat with, like, there was 12 of us. So even past, like, Sandy, Michelle, Lizzie, Kaylin, Tere, Maria, Betty, like Ali, everyone, we were all in this Zoom chat. And, it's really hard. Like, everyone's living their different lives, and we obviously don't get to chat a lot. And we were all on this chat together, and it was literally like we were teammates yesterday. So, I mean, just having, the diverse culture, and yeah, it's awesome. I can literally ring any of those people and say, hey, I'm coming tomorrow. And, I can go stay with them. And it's just like, it was more of like a family to me.
Sure.
Even, teammates that weren't on the team, obviously, for a long time. Like Tere, she was a senior. I was her freshie. So, like, I only, knew her for a year, and I went to Spain in April last year, and like I caught up with her. Like, it was just, yeah, it's just the connections and the friendships that I made there were just unreal. Even with non-golfers, like Kayla on the swimming team, she came for Christmas one year, spent a couple of weeks in Australia with me, and then we flew back to school together. Just, yeah, stuff like that is just, friendships for life, really.
Tanya, it's neat too because also your team's won a lot of matches and won a lot of Big South titles. when you were there, and part of the fun of it, to pull back the curtain, was you brought your GoPro to pretty much every tournament,
Oh yeah.
and would take pictures and take videos,
Yeah.
and one of the moments
For those
that's
that know me, I take my GoPro everywhere.
and I'm curious, we'll talk about that with your professional career too, because I see all your pictures on Instagram.
Yep.
But one of the fun moments is you won a title your senior year and filmed you guys, and this is a podcast, so you can't really see it, but you were jumping up in the air and like timed it perfectly to take a couple of pictures
Oh
of you
yeah.
guys jumping up and celebrate. I mean, how much fun is it to get those pictures and just think about those moments of all those victories?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that it was the Fighting Camel 4 Classic, and the trophy was actually a clear, what would you call it? Like a rectangle, hexagony, pointy thing. I don't even know, but I had placed the GoPro behind the trophy at the bottom, so it was kind of looking through the glass, and you could see the Fighting Camel Classic across the top of the trophy, and then I put it on a burst, so it takes 30 pictures, and I just was like, okay, everyone jump, and then just the timing was unreal, and I went through and picked it where everyone was peaking like their jump at the top, and yeah, I mean, another thing as well, it's cool that you brought that up because being in isolation for the last 2 weeks, I had a chance to go through all my hard drives and clean out my computer, and I found so many pictures from college, like not even just fun ones with the GoPro, but just all kinds of photos from college, and I have them all in folders. And yeah, just looking back on those, I mean, there was never like there was always a happy time, and yeah, I'm so. I mean, and people would always say, "Oh, not Tahnia again with the GoPro." Like I was always the one with the camera, and I'm like, yeah, but now we have those memories, and we can look back on those photos and remember all the good things. And yeah, I'm super happy that I have those.
And Tanya, it's fun too. So a lot of fans don't know this, but the Camis, the end of the year award show every year, and one year you
Oh yeah,
you kind of produced a video for us and did a bunch of trick shots where everyone was hitting them not only just straight off the tee, but they were throwing them up in the air, they were hitting them over their
yeah,
shoulder. I mean, the whole thing was coordinated, and it was really neat. Give us a sense of how that all happened and what your role was putting it together.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of the teams. I mean, for the past years that I had been to the Camis, honestly, Camis was like my favorite time of the year. Absolutely loved it. It was like you wanted to laugh, cry, think of all the good things. It was motivational. It was honestly one of the best nights. But I always remember, even as a freshman, I was like, wow, this is so unreal. And all the teams would come up with cool videos, funny stuff, whatever, you name it. They had it in there. And I guess I think it was my senior year I'd made it. I thought, oh, I want to do something kind of not funny, but something memorable for the golf team. And I said to everyone, all right, we're going to do this trick shot video. I don't care if you like it or not. Everyone's doing something. Like, even if you can't do a trick, you better practice it because we got 4 days to film it. And I'm going to make this video. So, yeah, we just come up. I mean, it was hilarious. Honestly, some of the stuff took forever to film because we just couldn't stop laughing. But, yeah, I'm just glad no one broke any of their clubs trying to hit dingers from the air. But, it was really good. That was that video. Wow, hilarious. I actually saw it the other day. I was
Oh,
watching
really?
it. But, yeah, that was a good memory. That was quite funny.
Tanya, I want to ask you about, because we talk about winning tournament titles and winning Big South, but you had a chance as a team to go to the NCAA Nationals, and I know that's something that only like 25 schools get to do and a handful of teams in the country, but what was that moment like competing with your gals at the highest level and seeing how you guys could do at the NCAA championships?
Yeah, wow, nationals was just on another level. Was actually fortunate enough to go my sophomore year and my junior year. We made it to regionals every year. But I think the most memorable part, my mum had come over for nationals. Did she come my sophomore year? I think my junior year she came. We were in Florida. Yeah, my junior year. We were at Concession Golf Club in Florida, and Mum was there, and yeah, and everyone's parents had come. So I think that was really special because we were all like just had our families there, and yeah, it was just such a nice, especially for our seniors. Their parents came as well, and it was just like a nice send off for them. But yeah, just the competing with them at that's the ultimate level to reach in college sports is playing in the national championship. And that was I still get goosebumps when I think about even trying to qualify. I remember my sophomore year, the first time we made nationals. It was always, I mean, we knew that it was in reach, but I don't think we knew it was possible, like that it was actually going to happen. I think because it'd been such a long time since coach had taken, I don't even know when it was, 1990 something, was the last time that they made it to nationals. And I'll never forget, oh my gosh, the last hole, it was this par four, or the last three holes actually. I just knew that I had to make three pars.
And that was
And
the
it was
year
like,
you guys were in Raleigh, right, at Lonnie Pool?
no, that was my junior year. My sophomore year, we were in, I don't even remember where it was, to be honest. It's like, where was that? I don't even remember. But I was like playing these last three holes and it was so windy. And it was a par five and I made par there, and then this crazy long par three into the wind. I remember I hit this hybrid, and I think I'd missed the green like in every other round, and now I've just got like this howler off the right side. Like it was just ridiculous, and I just hit on the green two putt. So I've made par, and then I'm coming down the last, and I swear it was so windy. I hit 5 wood into this par four, like just unheard of, and I've like just missed the green on the left side, like 2 foot off the first cut, and I knew that I had to two putt for us to go to nationals, and I was so nervous that I was like, just hit it, just don't try and hold it, just get it down there. Anyway, I think I left it like pin high, like 3 foot to the left or something like that, and I was like, wow, I'm more nervous over this 3 footer. And I can still, remember the feeling. I can see the ball going in. I can tell you, like, every little detail of that moment. It was just unreal. And then, obviously, we had to wait for a few more teams to come in. But if everyone had made par, it would have come down to that putt. And we were fortunate enough to finish, I think, in the top 6 and or top 8. I can't remember. Justin was there. We call him Pops. He was awesome. He was there, and he was just like so excited, and just the next kind of like 6 hours and whatever. Like it just went so quick, and because it was just almost like a realization that wow, this actually has come true. Like we're actually going to nationals. Like I don't think our faces were like all cramped up the next day because we were smiling so hard for the whole
selection
trip
show.
home.
Yeah.
Wow, it was just unreal. Yeah, that's probably my top 5 college like golfing moments. But it was just unreal.
I will say, just to build off that, now they do it on the Golf Channel and it's a whole ordeal, but just being in the room downstairs in the McKay House and seeing your guys' reaction to going to an NCAA tournament, regardless of the seed, that's always one of my favorite moments, and I know you guys love it too.
Yeah, it was almost like kind of nervous because you'd all be sitting there and we'd all be like anticipating where we're going to get sent, and coach would be like, I think we're going to go here, like where he thinks we're going to go, and we'd have we'd see who could get it right. But yeah, just that build up in the moment of seeing where we're going to go, and we'd get to the office sort of 45 minutes before, and we'd all eat and just reflect on the year, and it was kind of emotional. And then we'd watch the announcements and where we're going to go, and then after that it was back to business and get ready for nationals. But yeah, that was all. Any kind of team meeting in the office around that massive table, it was always.
Well, there was always snacks. John Crooks loved his ice cream.
Always snacks.
Yeah.
Always food. Always anything. You'd go in there like. Coach's like, what do you need? I'm like, I'm just running to class, but I just need a muesli bar. Like, let me just grab some. The office was anything that ever happened there was always good.
Tahnia, I'm curious now in your professional career, because of course you're based in Australia, but you travel all over the country and all over the world to play in these tournaments and continue that career. What is it like? Because as a player, everything's very structured and you sort of know your tournament schedule and you have a coach and you have someone to help you. What's it like as an individual kind of hitting the road and figuring it all out as you go along?
I honestly love it. I don't have a manager. I prefer, well, actually, I really enjoy, organizing all that kind of stuff on my own because if you get to the airport and they say, where are you staying? Like asking you all these questions, I already know it because I've booked it. I've done it all in my head. The one thing I do like though, I have a travel agent. He just books all my flights. I say, look, I need to go here. I need to be here at this time, at this date, whatever. And he does that for me because honestly, if you're trying to do it that part all on your own online, it can take hours. So, and that obviously for me takes a lot of time out of practice. So, yeah, I'm super grateful for him that he does that. And then, yeah, literally everything else I do on my own. I travel on my own. Um, yeah, just it's crazy. Do everything, but yeah, it's definitely an experience. I spend a lot of time in China the last 2 years. Obviously, not with Corona at the moment. Our tournaments have been pretty much cancelled or postponed for the rest of the year. Well, up until later, but I mean, who knows
Yeah,
what's going to
exactly.
happen. But yeah. So as of now, I don't have anything to play in. But yeah, the last couple of years I spent in China, and that was an awesome experience. The language barriers, literally hilarious. You'd rock up and get a taxi, and like, where are you going? Like, obviously, don't speak English, so you show them on your phone, like, this is where I need to go. Take me to this address, and they're all crazy drivers honking their horns everywhere. Oh, it's unreal. But yeah, that was definitely a experience. But yeah, wow, China's unreal.
Tahnia, it's fun to see because whether it's basketball or track or golf, we see a lot of these athletes go overseas and try stuff, and it's neat to see experience it. I am curious, just especially with all the pictures you take and all the places you've been, is there a country, one, that has stood out to you, and then two, maybe a country you'd want to play a tournament in, you just never been or wanted to go see it?
Ooh, wow. I spent most of 2018, 2019 in China. I think I went there 12 times in the last 18 months, like for various tournaments. So I did spend a lot of time there. I did play a ladies European tour event in Thailand. Um, but I mean, I love Thailand anyway. Just the people there, the food. Oh my gosh, I could eat Thai food every single day. Um, but oh gosh, I think I did one unique experience. I went to a tournament in Brunei, which is like this tiny Muslim country, like near Malaysia, sort of. It's really small. And I went there, and normally a tournament would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this tournament was it was just a 3 day event. So normally it would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But because they're Muslim on Friday, they pray from I think 12 till 2 or something like that. So nobody can be outside. So it was really interesting because we played the first round on the Thursday, and then Friday we were only allowed to practice until a certain time. And then they gave us like our lunch in a takeaway thing, and we had to go back to our hotel and stay in there for 2 or 3 hours until like the prayer session was over, and then we could come back to the golf course. But it's really weird because you never have like a break of play in between the tournament. So that was kind of interesting, and just the culture there. I mean, it was beautiful. Like the buildings were unreal. They had like gold-plated mosques and all this. Yeah, that was a really beautiful place. I mean, probably somewhere I would never go if I didn't have the opportunity to play a tournament there. But I mean, same with China. Like I honestly, when I think of China, you don't. For me, I don't think, oh, I'm going to take a vacation there. But I'm really grateful that I'd try and go a day earlier or stay a day later and do a little bit of sightseeing in the city that I'm in. Yeah, I've done the Great Wall, and I've been to like a lot of big places in China. Just because taking the time to just see, because I mean, yeah, it's golf's my job, and I understand like everything. Like you have to be serious and focus and stuff like that. But I mean, I like to have fun too, and I'm going to use that opportunity. I mean, not to be serious 24/7, but yeah. I mean, some girls don't like to do that, but I'm like, if I'm already there, I'm going to see something. Like,
And especially, I
so,
mean, being so young and having opportunities like that, why not?
mm, yeah, for sure. So
Tahnia,
I try and
my final
make it.
thought for you, because I know you got so many things to do right now, and I'm kind of facetious as
There's
I
so
say it,
many
but
things.
Uh, just your thoughts on you've mentioned how Campbell has been a big part of your journey, both as a player and a coach. But I'm curious, just with the influx of culture and the different athletes and all that, maybe what the experience meant to you, and kind of a takeaway or a moment that really stood out to you from your Campbell career.
Um, wow. Well, so many things, but I guess for me, at the time when I came to Campbell, obviously being Australian and coming from the other side of the world, not a lot of Australians were doing that, and it was a big decision for me to make the choice to come over there and sort of take a leap of faith, I guess, because I really didn't know many people who had done it. I was really fortunate though. Kylie Pratt, she helped me with like my applications, and she was also went to Campbell as well, um, which was awesome, and she helped me through the process. But now I feel like I can provide that sort of information to other juniors and upcoming players that might want to go to college, because I didn't have any of that sort of information. Mum and I and Dad, we figured it all out on ourselves by ourselves and with the help of Kylie. And I guess people were saying, "Oh, I don't think it's a good idea. If you go to college, like you could stay here and get better and practice and turn pro and all these things." And I don't know, I just sort of had this feeling like I wanted to get away from everything that everyone was doing here, and I didn't want to be like everybody else. And honestly, now looking back, people always, all the time, everyone always asks me, if you could do it again, would you go back? And I say 100%. Like if you said I had the opportunity to go tomorrow, I would be there. Like even now, like thinking, I could have had 4 years at home preparing. I'm like, there's nothing that will ever amount to the experience that I had at Campbell. Yeah, and I think my favorite moment was definitely graduation. My mum came, and yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it was just like a really nice summary of my time there and all the friendships, and just I don't know, you sort of have this like epiphany sitting in your rows with everyone that had classes with, or went and had coffee with, or just hung out and did other stuff, and everybody's in this room together, and you just see everyone walking across that stage, that has ticked off their goal. And yeah, it was a pretty special moment for me. I think, and I choose that moment because it's it just summarizes the whole experience. And then at the end, like I come out with a degree, like yeah, there's nothing that can ever like take that away. So
Well, Tahnia, we really appreciate the time. I know you're going to keep killing it on the course, so you don't need any luck from me. But best of luck nonetheless, and we appreciate you jumping on the podcast.
yeah, thanks so much, Evan. Thanks for having me.